I have a quick PSA before I get started on today's album that I want to talk about. I want to mention to anybody who's watching this, if you like the same kind of music that I do, and if you're watching this, you probably do, you should watch on, if all goes according to plan, it should be up on Tuesday, a video that I'm going to do on this channel. I'm going to be talking to 3 special guests. It's the first time I've done, I think, something like this. I had my brother on, but he didn't count. These are going to be 3 bona fide rock stars. Is it Eddie Vedder, Sting, Bono, Dave Grohl, Mick Jagger? I don't know. Actually, I do know. You don't know. You have to stay tuned to find out. That'll be Tuesday. I never really promote myself. I've never once told anybody to like and subscribe or leave a comment. I love it when you do. I appreciate it, but I don't like to tell people what to do, something like that. But if you want to see something like that, then I advise, hopefully it'll be up Tuesday afternoon or evening, if all goes according to plan. And I won't say who it is, but it's going to be 3 guys, one of whom is in a band, one of the earliest bands, like when I started getting into, like, really into metal. It's a guy who's in that band now. Another guy, two of the guys from the other 2 bands are guys that I've talked a lot about on this channel. If you go back and you see the albums and bands I've talked about, there are 2 that I've featured, and I'm going to be talking to 1 guy from each of those 2 bands all together. It's going to be the 4 of us talking about. I'm also not going to tell you that's called a tease in the industry. We call that a tease. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully on Tuesday afternoon. The other thing is, and again, I don't solicit comments, but how's this mic? Last time I talked about Red Hot Chili Peppers' Unlimited Love, and I was debuting this new mic that allows me to stand really far back and talk if I like, or I can stand up close and talk like this, and the sound is all the same because it comes from here, not from the phone. But I think it sounds kind of hollow. It doesn't sound full. I don't know if you're familiar with how my voice sounds when I normally talk on these videos, and you are listening to this one or listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers one I did last time. Tell me what you think. This is really just for convenience, but I think maybe it doesn't sound so good. So maybe I'll go back to just using the mic from my camera phone. So now that that's out of the way, yes, I'm going to talk today about Mad Season, their one and only album called Above, and here it is right here. I always like to show things. There it is, Mad Season, Above. This came out in 1995, and if you're watching this, you probably know all about it. If you don't, I'll tell you. It was some people like to call it a super group, which I'm not sure if that's the appropriate term for it or not, but it's Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, of course, singing. Mike McCready from Pearl Jam on guitar. Barrett Martin on Barrett Martin on drums. He was from Screaming Trees, and on bass was what was the name? Saunders. Baker Saunders on bass, who was in. What was he in? Was he in Screaming Trees? To be honest, those 2 guys, Baker Saunders and Barrett Martin, I was never into the music of the bands that they were in, so I never knew them too much. But I was huge, massively in 1995 into Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains. And this album, I loved it. This was an album I listened to a ton in 1995 and for years beyond that. I hadn't listened to it for many years. A couple of months ago, I was, if you don't know, if you're watching this because you like music, maybe you don't know that I go hiking a lot. And I was driving to a hike about maybe 2 months ago, and I put a few songs from this on my phone in the car when I was driving. I thought, man, that album is fucking awesome. I haven't listened to it for a long time. So I listened to the full album. I've listened to it 4 or 5 times in full since then, and including today. And I always knew that I loved it. Maybe I kind of forgot about it. That happens sometimes. So that made me want to talk about it. And I always talk about my history with these bands. I have no history with Mad Season. As I said, I think I said they were like a one-off band, one album. Just these guys came together. So I don't know. I know they played at least one live show at the Moore in Seattle because they put that on a DVD and I think a live album, or maybe it was one of those combos like a live album DVD, something like that. Very, very few shows. And then, of course, Lane Staley died in 2002. Barrett Martin died in, I don't know when, 99, something like that. I can't even remember. But this is every bit of classic from the 90s, I think, as any of the albums that those bands made, Screaming Trees and Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, except for one egregious thing that I really don't like about this album. One, you could maybe say two, and of course I'll talk about those later. But other than that, this is really just a perfect album. And I'm going to talk about it starting right now. Now, of course, anything that Lane Staley does is going to sound like, anything that he sings on is going to sound like Alice in Chains. But this album really sounds like Alice in Chains. Not just for the vocals, but musically too. I don't know if it's Mike McCready was channeling Jerry Cantrell, or if the other guys, Barrett and Baker, were that, they're all friends and they're all from Seattle. But this album is almost like, I think of it almost as a lost Alice in Chains album. And I love Alice in Chains. I talked about Facelift a year ago or something like that. So it starts with the going through this track by track. The first track is Wake Up. Wake up, young man, it's time to wake up. Your love affair has got to go for 10 long years. For 10 long years, for 10 long years. The leaves you rake up, slow suicide's no way to go. Slow suicide's no way to go. Moving onward, something like that. It's so hard to talk the lyrics, and I'm not going to sing them. That could be, starting off the first song could be my favorite. The cool thing about that song, in addition to it just being a great song, is that it's a very mellow, kind of brooding, moody, dark, kind of gentle, not a ballad for sure. And it's the first song on the album, and it's like 7 or 8 minutes, something like that. Very unusual that an album would start like that. Most bands, the opening song, Alice in Chains had We Die Young on Facelift. And what was the first track on Dirt? Damn Them Bones. And Pearl Jam had Last Exit, Once. What was the first song on Versus? Go. And most bands, metal or hard rock bands, they have an energetic song on the first song is always very energetic. This one was very different. So very, very unique choice to open this album, and great choice, I think. And again, that I'll talk about my favorite, as I always do. Wake Up, the first song, why not? Could be a favorite. Next song, X-Ray Mind, and there's the back of it. I always like to quote the lyrics, and sometimes I need just to get my teeth into the first line. The first line of X-Ray Mind. Do the last I when, one such as I run, and allow myself time for own true needs. When convincing me that you're on my team, may not lie to me, but not mentioning. And that's also kind of a mellow song. I remember when the second, is it X-Ray Mind that starts with the drums? Yeah, it is. When the second Down album came out in when did that come out? 2002. The second song from the second Down album is called There's Something on My Side. And that's, to me, the drums from that remind me of the drums from X-Ray Mind. They fade in. It's just like a kind of a pounding, I don't know, almost tribal drum beat, and then the song comes in. Could be a contender too, X-Ray Mind. So sit back and have an hysterical laugh at tiny holes buying trade men's souls. You, they, it, or what have been fair, I thought. May you never free you from you or me. When convincing me that you're on my team. I love that song, X-Ray Mind. River of Deceit was next. That's that was, I guess, a single. As far as I remember, that was the only single, and I don't even know if they did a video for it, but I remember it on the radio. And that's also kind of there's nothing on here that's a ballad. There are no love songs. There are quiet songs. I wouldn't call those ballads, though. River of Deceit, beautiful. This whole album, I would say, is beautiful, dark. I used all these adjectives before: brooding, moody, dark. A lot of stuff about suicide and darkness. But at the same time, it's beautiful. And River of Deceit, my pain is self-chosen. At least, so the prophets, I could either drown or pull off my skin and swim to shore. Now I can grow a beautiful shell for all to see. No, or cut off my pride and buy some time. A head full of lies is the weight tied to my waist. The river of deceit pulls down, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say it again. We got 3 contenders after 3 tracks for the best song ever. Not best song ever, best song on this album. And there's there it is there. I'm scrolling the wrong way, I think. I think it should go like that. What's next after this one? I'm not sure if the song's here in order. I'm Above, kind of the title track. Dun, 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 dun. That's the first one that's really Alice in Chainsy, kind of slow and grinding. That one's a little bit heavier. Full clear space and soundness of mine. I've let you play me or blame me for some time. One can only receive and retain, but the lies you recite for your gain. So you rely on my faith in your kind, or rather continue to pretend that I'm blind. You say I made your life a living hell, and yet still you pay me when I fell, you pay me when I fell. And then the chorus gets heavier. How is it you're feeling so uneasy? How is it that I feel fine? Life reveals what is dealt through seasons, circle comes around each time. I've been blessed with eyes to see this, behind the unwhole truth you hide. Bite to remind the bitten bigger, mouth repaying tenfold wide. I'm above. Really nice, quiet verses, and then the chorus is slams in very heavy. I'm above. 4 out of 4, perfect. This is the greatest album ever, whatever, so far. But it's got 2 major flaws, which I am going to talk about. Next is Artificial Red. This one I remember at the time that was maybe my least favorite one on this album. It's kind of slow, bluesy, almost like a AC/DC Ride On, the Jack, which I never liked those kind of slow AC/DC songs either. But when I've listened to this recently, it's, surprise, surprise, become a favorite too. It's still kind of slow and bluesy. Artificial Red, smoke, poison consumed, in the house of ill repute. Is this the way I spend my days in recovery of a fatal disease? Artificial Red. And then could also be a favorite. Lifeless Dead is next. Lifeless Dead, that unclean bed. Tell her when her hunger's fed, how he'd wish that they would wed. I promise on our love, she said. Promises were never kept. Alone on dirty floor he slept. Yeah, Lifeless Dead. Great vocals on that one. Big kind of a soaring that, yeah, Lifeless Dead. And Lane Staley is, even before this, was and still is one of my favorite singers ever. I think of all those, the 4, I was going to say he's maybe my favorite of the big 4 of grunge. I don't know if maybe Chris Cornell or Lane Staley. Maybe Lane Staley was. But Lifeless Dead, what's that, 5 or 6? 5 out of 5 so far. And then I Don't Know Anything. Pure 100% Alice in Chains song. It starts with the dirtiest, fuzziest, heaviest grungiest Alice in Chains, Jerry Cantrell style riff from Mike McCready, and very slow, droning, heavy. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know who I am. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Why we have to live in so much pain? Why we have to live in so much pain every day? Oh yeah. When the teacher put the ruler down on my hand, I laughed. Killer song. And I remember that one was played on the radio, at least where I lived. The radio station that I listened to at the time was 97.7 Hits FM in St. Catharines near Toronto. I remember hearing I Don't Know Anything way more than I heard River of Deceit. There was no video for that. This album, I think, got quite like almost no, there was not a lot of hype around it. People didn't, as far as I remember, people didn't really talk about it. My friends, we all liked it, but maybe because they never, Mad Season never toured, they maybe just never, stuck with or made an impact on people the way their peers did. Going back here, what's after I Don't Know Anything? Long Gone Day, maybe the most unique song on this album. This is the one that I always considered my favorite. Still possible that it could be, and we're up to what, number 7? Long Gone Day is number 8. So Much Blood, I'm Starting to Drown, runs from cold to colder. Time to Time, the skies come down, they help me lose my way. Tears and lies for answers. Tears and lies for answers. You in open veins. God knows I'm gone. Girl, I just want you to come home then. Lord, it's a storm and I'm starting to. Lord, it's a storm and I'm heading to fall. Starting to fall. These sins are mine and I've done wrong. Oh, babe, come on down. And then that's Mark Lanigan, I think, singing that first verse. And then Lane comes in the chorus. Long gone day. Whoever said we washed away with the rain? And then in the maybe most unique moment of this album, there's a little saxophone. I wouldn't say it's a saxophone solo, but it's a little saxophone break after the first chorus and the second verse, and then Lane sings the second verse. See you all from time to time. Isn't it so strange how far away we all are now? Am I the only one who remembers that summer? Oh yeah, I remember. Every day, each time the place was saved, the music that we made, the wind has carried all of that away. Long gone day. And I think there's some, I don't know what instrument it is also in this song, maybe xylophone. Dung, 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 dung. It sounds like xylophone to me. If it is, that might be the only song in my entire thousands and thousands of songs that I have in my catalog, digital and CD albums, whatever, that has xylophone in it. If it is indeed xylophone. Hey, that might be another one that's my favorite. And we're up to track 8 now, Long Gone Day. Now, this is where it goes downhill. This is for me where this album goes from in my opinion, the being one of the great albums of that era or genre to, having fucking awesome songs, but as a full album, it loses something here. Now, the next song is November Hotel. Now, the reason that I can't say that I don't like it, but the reason that it brings it down for me, it's an instrumental and it's a long one. It's 6 or 7 or 8 minutes or something like that. I've talked about instrumentals before. There are some good ones. Don't be mistaken. There are some instrumentals that I love. But I think sometimes instrumentals, and I don't know why this one feels like it, that feel like they were just kind of incomplete. Like they just maybe didn't have time to put lyrics to it. Or I don't know, maybe couldn't come up with something. So they just said, yeah, we'll put it on there. Almost as filler. A lot of people like to, talk about filler. And I think this is 6 or 7 or 8 minutes of filler, even though it's a pretty good song and has a lot of potential. There's a part about I don't know, halfway, 2 or 3 minutes into it, that's very heavy. That reminds me of 3 Days by Jane's Addiction, which is probably my favorite Jane's Addiction song ever. It's very heavy and kind of I think would have been a great song with a kind of it's very jammy in the middle, almost a little bit similar to the way Pearl Jam plays Porch in Rearview Mirror now. November Hotel reminds me of that. But man, what potential that song had to be a killer one if they had put lyrics in it. Now, the next one is All Alone, which is another instrumental. So, a couple of problems here. Well, it's, let's say, more or less an instrumental. They had, he says, we're all alone. We're all alone. He says that twice. It's essentially an instrumental. So not only are there two instrumentals, they're the last two songs on the album, which make me kind of feel that they were just kind of tacked on, just again for filler. Like, we have 8 songs. What can we do? We've got 2 more that are kind of incomplete. We'll just put them on there to make the album 46 minutes or 50 minutes, whatever, instead of 39 minutes. And again, that has potential to be awesome. That song really reminds me of, it has the vibe, really strong vibes of Release by Pearl Jam. And nothing on this album sounds like Pearl Jam except All Alone. And like I said, November Hotel has a little bit of the style of Pearl Jam, what they ended up doing some years later. But All Alone has a really nice atmospheric vibe to it, kind of quiet, and it could have been great. But if they had maybe put these songs, if they had put one of them as the 3rd or 4th track and then another one the 2nd to last track, for me it makes a difference. The way that, the track listing goes, listening to an album or record or CD or whatever you want to call it as a full collection of songs, having them on at the end is a weak finish to this album. If you kind of like if you had buried them amongst everything else, I think I would have enjoyed the album a little bit more. But that always and I did enjoy them when I listened to this today and these last 4 or 5 times in the last 2 months or whatever. I have enjoyed them more, but I remember when this came out. For me, the album almost pretty much ended after track 8, which was Long Gone Day. Yeah. So that's what I think about instrumentals in general. And that's also what I think about Mad Season Above. I wish they had done more, but I mean, they did the one album and it was a fucking awesome album, despite these last 2 things, what I said. And so I have talked about Mad Season Above. That's all I have to say. But remember, if you're still watching this, check my channel again on Tuesday, and maybe there will be something you're really going to like. Thanks.